Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk about the neuroscience behind robotic affirming. Okay, I have my handy dandy notebook here. I took so many notes on the science behind robotic affirmations and why it works. Okay, why robotic affirming, mantra meditation, repetition, whatever you call it, why it works. Okay, so I'm just gonna get straight into it. When you start robotic affirming or just engaging in anything repetitively, several changes occur at the level of synapses and neurons in your brain. What are neurons? They're just brain cells. Synapses are what connects neurons to each other. Okay, that's synapses are the way that neurons also communicate with each other. So yeah, um, the first point that I want to make here is synaptic strengthening, or also Hebbian plasticity, Hebbian. So basically, neurons communicate at synapses, like I mentioned. And neurons, I'm sure a lot of you have heard this quote before, but neurons that fire together wire together. So if two neurons are repeatedly activated at the same time, the synapse between them strengthens. Okay, this process is known as Hebbian plasticity and is crucial in learning and memory. When you repeat affirmations, the neurons associated with these thoughts strengthen their connections. Okay, that's why repetition works, mantra meditation, robotic affirming. Okay, like it's literally just your synapses connecting these neurons with each other and rewiring that neural pathway. For a lot of you, you could have heard the term rewire your brain, strengthen your neural pathway. That's exactly what that is. Okay, again, just to summarize, neurons communicate at synapses, and synapses are places where neurons connect and communicate with each other. And when you affirm, okay, or do anything repetitively, what's happening here is that the synapse between these two neurons are strengthening. Okay, um, and again, this is known as Hebbian plasticity. And like I mentioned, this is crucial in learning and memory. I know I give this example on my channel a lot, but when you first started learning your ABCs, it was just a matter of practice. It was just a matter of just repeating your ABCs. Even the multiplication table, it was just a matter of saying it. Okay, it was just a matter of repeating it. And soon, even though you probably had no idea what was going on, because think of babies. Like there's not that much going on in their brain, right? Like when their parents are telling them words, they have no idea what they're saying. They're just repeating it back to them, right? And soon enough they catch on, they start learning. That's the same thing with robotic affirmations. You do not need to believe in whatever it is that you're saying. You just need to keep saying it until it becomes your natural way of thinking. And trust when I say, personally, I have manifested a lot in my life without actually believing in anything that I said, but it just became second nature. I'm like, okay, I'm saying this so much, I might as well believe in it, right? So trust when I say, like, I know I give this example a lot as well. When I was affirming for my job, and this was before I even knew about manifestation, but I just had this desire that I want a job, I want a six-figure job. I didn't believe in anything at the time. I remember all I did was write like a fake LinkedIn post, okay, like in the draft section of the notes section of my phone, that, oh, I'm so grateful to announce that I got a job at so and so. And I even imagined, actually wrote, like, I made a fake Instagram story, and like just like, instead of posting it, I just like downloaded it with the Instagram template, and I'm just like, oh, I'm so grateful that I got this job, and I envisioned like people congratulating me. And that is what I ended up doing when I got my job. And I didn't really believe in it, you guys. Like, I know I shouldn't affirm this, but I used to have imposter syndrome. I still do. Imposter syndrome, if you don't know what it is like maybe feeling like you're not good enough for something, or other people around you are smarter. None of that really matters. I mean, if you can, like, try to be as confident as possible. If you do have imposter syndrome, there's so many ways to beat that. Okay, you can use the law of assumption, you can use the manifestation to beat that, which I have been doing. I constantly affirm, like, oh, I feel so confident in myself. I feel confident in my software engineering abilities. I feel confident in my job. I feel confident as a project manager. Whatever it is that I do. So just telling yourself, no, I am confident. I am confident. No, I do feel secure. No, I do deserve this thing. You'll eventually start, even if you don't believe it consciously, you will start internalizing it on a subconscious level, and that's what's going to get external. Oh my gosh, that's what's going to get reflected in your external reality. Okay, That is how manifestation works. That's how anything works. If you keep saying like, yeah, no, I am qualified, I do deserve that job, I do deserve, that partner, I am beautiful, I am amazing, I am rich, I am abundant. Just watch how that gets reflected in your outer world. Okay, so some of these things you might believe because you don't have that much resistance to them. Okay, you might consciously believe them, you might unconsciously believe them, and they have no choice but to manifest. But even if you don't consciously believe something will happen, when you repeat something enough, your subconscious mind will internalize that. Okay, that is a point that I really, really want to highlight here, because I know a lot of videos here on YouTube, TikTok, wherever, they say you have to believe your affirmations, this, that. Your subconscious has to believe them. Okay, that's what they really mean. Or maybe some of them like feel like, oh, you do have to consciously feel it, believe it. Let me tell you guys, like, there's not a lot that I felt. Like, I'm just like not much of a feeler in general. I know that sounds so weird to say, but like I just when it comes to like feeling certain things, yeah, can I feel can I feel some of my affirmations? Sure, but there's definitely some affirmations or some things that I'm trying to manifest that I don't know how to feel because I just haven't experienced them. And I know that's the same with you. For a lot of you guys, if you're trying to manifest being a millionaire, if you're trying to manifest being rich, and you haven't actually like experienced that, how are you supposed to feel that, right? You can't. And it's better to not force the feeling of feeling and just affirm, because sometimes I don't want to use the R word resistance, but like sometimes people focus too much on conjuring the feeling, whereas they could just be robotic affirming and strengthening their synapses, strengthening their brain cells, thus rewiring their neural pathways, and get that thing that much faster than trying to feel something, trying to force that. Because sometimes when you try to like force something, that can cause a little bit of resistance. But here's the thing: when you robotically affirm, you're not forcing anything, you're just repeating, you're just saying these affirmations, and again, they become second nature. They'll soon become your dominant way of thinking. Okay, because that's another reason why robotic affirmations work like a charm. Okay, saturation via robotic affirming works so well. It works so fast. Okay, it actually works scary fast. There's certain things that I've like manifested out of my life or in my life in like a day or like overnight. Okay, so I'm telling you, this stuff really works. Okay, you don't need to think about the how, you don't need to think about how any of this happens. Your subconscious mind divinely orchestrates this. There's this whole thing about divine time and the universe orchestrating it. It's the infinite intelligence of your subconscious mind orchestrating certain things in ways that you can't even comprehend. Okay, our subconscious mind is literally a supercomputer that maybe consciously we're not able to 100% figure out how any of that works, but that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of manifestation. Just affirm for whatever it is that you want, consistently affirm them. Okay, repeat it as much as you can, saturate your mind as much as you can, because repetition kills resistance. Okay, persistence kills resistance, and watch the magic happen. Okay, things can change overnight. They do change overnight. And robotic affirming, the more you saturate, the more you just keep repeating these affirmations, the faster things come. I am not even kidding when I say you know things shift really, really fast. And when I say things shift, I mean you just shift into your desired reality, because at the end of the day, manifestation is nothing but your reticular activating system, cells at the base of your brain, just projecting out into reality what you are feeding it. Okay, so the reticular activating system, RAS, only like I mentioned, it projects out into your reality the affirmations you tell it. Think of reality as a film, or like a reel, in your subconscious mind as the projector. Okay, that's literally what manifestation is. That's literally what the world is. I know for a lot of you guys, you could have heard of like the hologram theory, solipsism, all of that. Whatever you think about is what gets projected out into reality. And that's important because I literally repeated it 3 times. Okay, and it gets projected via your reticular activating system, which is just it's just a filter. It's a filter in your brain that filters out what you think about the most. Like if you go on a walk and you tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna see a pink car, you will see other cars, but like you'll be more attuned to seeing pink cars. You'll notice the pink cars more. You'll notice maybe even like pink things more if you tell yourself, okay, pink, because your brain, when you tell yourself that, again, like the synapses, the neurons are firing and wiring together, and they're making all these connections in your brain and associating like whatever you're telling it with pink. So you'll definitely see a pink car, but you'll notice someone like wearing a pink shirt. You'll notice someone maybe wearing like pink sunglasses. You'll just notice that color more. Okay, so that's exactly what like manifestation is. When you tell yourself, okay, you know what, I'm going to manifest money, I'm going to be so rich, you're going to start seeing articles about people getting rich, you're going to start getting just more evidence that like money is abundant, depending on what you tell it. If you tell yourself things like, oh, it's easy for me to be abundant, it's easy for me to be rich, it's easy for me to manifest so much money, then you're going to like notice that happening. You're going to even meet with people that are going to tell you about their side hustles or their businesses, because I know in today's day and age, you guys, the algorithm, okay, technology is like really smart. I don't know if you guys have TikTok or not, but TikTok literally knows what I'm thinking about. So it's like when you start manifesting certain things, the algorithm will definitely bring that to you, because I don't know what the science behind all of that is. But the algorithms are getting scary accurate. But think of manifestation as like life's algorithm. Think of your affirmations as uh, you know think of like what you think of the most being reflected out into your reality. And that being sort of like life's algorithm. Oh my gosh, that was like the worst way to explain it, but my point is like life is an algorithm that responds to what you think about the most. That's actually what I meant to say. And even for me, like when I was manifesting a job, okay, or actually no, this was when I was manifesting a promotion. I noticed other people around me get promotions. I was going to like events in real life, I was like talking to people in real life, and because I kept like saying, oh, I promotion, 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 like my ears just like propped up whenever someone mentioned promotion, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like magic here. Of course reality is going to reflect what I think about the most. So if there's something that you don't want to see in your reality, you guys, as much as you can, replace it with something more positive. Okay. Is it like, it's kind of hard to not think negative thoughts. Okay, I mean, I know that might be a limiting belief, but if you do find yourself thinking negative thoughts, literally just replace that with something positive, because we think like what, 70,000 thoughts a day, right? And a lot of them are unconscious thoughts. We can't like register every single thought that we think. Again, the subconscious mind knows things, that like maybe our conscious mind like hasn't completely registered. Okay, it has an infinite intelligence that's going to bring about whatever it is that you want via the reticular activating system. Okay, so robotic affirming is just a way to reprogram your subconscious mind. And something that has helped me tremendously is listening to affirmations in my own voice. Okay, so I made an affirmation tape that I listen to while I sleep, while I'm on the plane, while I'm like working out, while I'm just walking around the city. Okay, honestly, at this point I listen to my affirmation tapes more than music, because if there's something that you really really want to manifest, you will do whatever it takes for you to manifest that. You will do whatever it takes for you to saturate your mind, so that you can manifest that thing into your reality. And let me tell you guys, affirmation tapes in your voice are a life hack. That's what I've been doing pretty religiously, like consistently. And let me tell you, my life has changed. Okay, so if you're someone that doesn't have a lot of time in their day, for me, like I have a 9 to 5, I have all these like side hustles and hobbies, I have a social life, I have so much going on, and I really, really use my sleep to reprogram my subconscious mind by using the Parrot app, Parrot, which just loops your affirmations. Okay, you can use the voice recorder app on your phone, but it doesn't loop it. So I highly recommend the Parrot app if you don't already know about it, and just listen to it as you sleep. In the beginning, I couldn't listen to my tape throughout the night because I would just wake up and like like click stop. But then I got used to it. I'm like, no, I want this thing. I'm gonna like listen to this the entire X hours that I sleep. And in my dream, I would start dreaming. Maybe I was still like a little bit awake. I was still like slightly conscious, and I would like hear people reflect my affirmations back to me in my dream, the affirmations that I had filmed on that pair tape. And like people in my dreams would be lip syncing that. It was like so scary, but so cool and so magical. And trust when I say I got my manifestation fast. It took me a month. I was manifesting something really, really big, and I got that. Okay, like it's really big. Like I don't like. If you want to know what it is, like DM me or something like that. But like, oh my gosh, it works like a charm. Okay, so again, affirmation tapes in your own voice while you sleep, or while you're just even doing mundane tasks. If you don't want to like robotically affirm, it works as well. Okay, affirmation tapes are a great substitute to robotic affirming. But definitely do robotic affirm as much as possible. Like I would listen to those tapes, and if I was walking, I would still like robotically affirm like with it. Okay, but it really really helps you guys. Robotic affirming is the key. And again, do you need to believe in anything? No, but you need to keep seeing it until you see evidence of whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. Okay, people ask me, how long should I do this for? Until you get what you want, until you're in your desired reality where you have every single aspect of your manifestation. Okay, um, there's this one quote that I really like: speak what you seek until you see what you've said. Okay, speak what you seek until you see what you said. So yeah, in terms of robotic affirming, you can affirm out loud, you can affirm in your brain. It doesn't matter. It just matters that, like, your brain is registering those affirmations. So if you want to think them, that's completely fine. If you want to say them out loud, that's completely fine. Okay, listen to those affirmation tapes. That's completely fine. If you just tell yourself, okay, all I have to do is listen to these affirmation tapes, and no matter what I think, even if I don't think thoughts are my favorite, I'm still gonna manifest, because that is true, you guys. Like when you robotically affirm, when you affirm, again, like when you saturate your mind so much, like there is no space for negative thoughts to creep in. Okay, or like there's no thoughts for negative thought. Oh my gosh, there's no space for negative thoughts to stay. Maybe they might creep in, but because you've affirmed so much, like those negative thoughts just feel so unfamiliar. It's like, imagine like you walking into, like, I don't know, like, I actually, I'm not even. Some of my metaphors need to be worked on. I'm not gonna lie, but my point is, like, when you robotically affirm, even if you don't think thoughts in your favor at times, that robotic affirming that you will have done will override those negative thoughts. It will override your limiting beliefs, your doubts. Okay, robotic affirming helps you consciously override your unconscious thoughts, beliefs, old programming. Okay, I could, like, genuinely, this is like the most magical thing to ever exist. Robotic affirming is a life hack. It is the key to getting everything you want. Okay, it is like, it's literally gold in a bottle. It's the best thing ever. Out of everything I've tried, scripting, all of that, robotic affirming works. So, and scripting is good too. Again, when you script the same things every day, that's repetition. And like I said, repetition strengthens, the connections between neuron synapses, right? And helps you form new neural pathways that are in alignment with what you're manifesting. And when you say something enough, it becomes your dominant way of thinking. And as you know, your dominant, thoughts, your dominant beliefs are what ends up, manifesting, or that's what ends up being reflected in your reality. So, that's like the science behind how that works. But oh my gosh, I have so many more facts to share with you. I digress so much. Okay, I'm just gonna, go ahead and get straight to the facts. So, okay, number 2, formation of neural pathways. With repetition, a set of neurons that represent the thoughts you're affirming begin to form a more robust network. This network becomes more efficient with each repetition, making the thought easier to trigger. So that's the thing, you guys. When you consistently do something for a prolonged period of time, and I use that word very lightly. Okay, when I say prolonged, it doesn't mean it has to take a long time. Okay, it just depends on your resistance to that, or just how much you're affirming. Okay, that dictates the amount of time you're going to get that in. But when you do something enough, it gets easier within time. Like, let me give you an example. Driving. When I first started driving, I felt so uncomfortable. I felt so weird. It just felt so unnatural to me. But now I don't even have to think about it because I've driven so much. Honestly, I live in New York. I don't even drive a car here. Whenever I go back to my home in California and I start driving, I don't have to think twice because I've done it so much. Even though I've taken a break from it, my mind just knows. Like where my hand goes, which foot goes on which pedal, the directions, all of that. Like I, know my hometown like the back of my hand, even though I haven't been there in a while. Okay, that's what happens when you robotically affirm. When you say something enough, it gets easier within time. So, let's say you've been robotically affirming for, something. In the future, you'll just have to say that a couple of times, and you'll get that thing much easier because it becomes your dominant way of thinking. For me, there's certain things I don't even have to affirm anymore that are like solid, that I'm set in life for, like for my job, for money, for example. I rarely even affirm. I don't really affirm for money as much. I do definitely have some abundance money affirmations, but like I'm in the dominant state of having a job, being employed, doing well at my job, being abundant, being able to afford pretty much anything I want. I go on, like, I live in a luxury apartment. I live in New York City. I literally go to a different country like every month or every other month. Um, so yeah, like it's become my dominant state of mind that I'm financially stable. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. That's something that I want you to know. Okay, this can happen in any area of life. I know some people who have not affirmed for a day, um, and have like the best love life. They've not affirmed any sort of love affirmations, and they're happily married. They're happy living their best life. Living together under the same roof with 2 dogs. And at the end of the day, that was their dominant way of thinking. And it's like, if something is not your dominant way of thinking, then that's not. You can change that. Anything is malleable. Nothing is set in stone. Just because you're not used to something doesn't mean you will never get used to it. Again, for a lot of you, you probably had, like a lot of us, like we didn't know how to write like essays. We didn't know how to write paragraphs. When we first started saying words, it felt really weird and unnatural. Same with the driving, right? Like I felt so weird driving for the first time. Like I was like nervous. I was like, it took a lot of mental energy, but like now it's just so easy for me to do because, again, like I mentioned, when you repeat something, you form a more robust network, and this network becomes more efficient with each repetition, making the thought easier to trigger. Okay, so that's why robotic affirming and being consistent with your affirmations, it helps you build momentum. And once you have that momentum, like, you literally cannot, get off of it, right? Like Newton's law, right? An object in motion stays in motion. That's why consistency, diligence, discipline is so, so, so important. You need to be saturating your mind every single day. Okay, this is not just like, okay, I'm just gonna affirm a couple times. I mean, if that works for you, that works for you. Okay, if that's how you manifested, that's fine. But if there's something that you have quote unquote resistance to, again, I hate using that word, but you have to use it for the purposes of just explaining manifestation. If you have resistance to something, and you keep affirming, you will kill that resistance. Okay, persistence kills resistance. Trust. I've been there. I've seen it happen in front of my own eyes. Okay. Third fact is increased neurotransmitter release. So robotic affirming, or repetition of affirmations, can lead to increased release of neurotransmitters. Okay, there's a bunch of neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, all those chemicals that you hear about. But yeah, like dopamine, which is also linked to mood regulation. So this enhances positive feelings associated with affirmations. That's why some people feel really good after robotically affirming. Okay, they feel like like me personally, after a session, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this feels so good. Like, even if I don't see it manifest in my 3D reality right then and there, like, I feel like, I'm doing something to get something. Although, like, that's not how it should be. I know that might be a limiting belief, but I know for a lot of us, we've been raised in a certain way, right? Like, a lot of us have been told that, okay, when you do something, you'll get the reward for it. When you do something, when you put in effort, you you will reap the benefits of that. And if you can't change that programming, if you're just like, oh my gosh, like, I feel like I have to work hard to get what I want, then you might as well make it work in your favor. When I robotically affirm, I'm like, okay, I'm putting in the work. And, there's certain like chemicals that are being released. Okay, these neurotransmitters such as dopamine, serotonin, being released every single time I affirm, and it makes me feel good. Like, especially self concept affirmations, you guys. Saying self concept affirmations, even if you don't believe them, again, your subconscious mind is registering everything. You tell yourself, I'm chosen, I'm loved, I'm prioritized. Anyone would be lucky to be with me. I'm the most amazing partner ever. Okay, I'm the prize. I'm on the pedestal. I'm a catch. I am everyone's dream person. I'm everyone's dream woman. I'm everyone's dream man. Um, everyone worships the ground that I walk on. Make them as dramatic as you want. Your subconscious mind will start internalizing that, and people will start reflecting that back to you. Okay, and every time you say that, you will feel good. Okay, that dopamine, serotonin, all of that will be released. That's why robotically affirming self-concept affirmations is also a life hack to getting what you want fast. Okay, I'm huge on self-concept. I feel like you can affirm for specific things, specific person, but as much as you can, start off with self-concept, because when you start doing self-concept affirmations, and you start affirming for something specific, you're like reducing the resistance towards that specific thing that you're trying to manifest. Because some people just start saying SP affirmations, their brain won't believe it at all. Again, not that you need to believe it, but when you start pairing self-concept with specific person affirmations, it will kill off that resistance. Okay, it will eliminate resistance. The fourth fact here is brain region modulation. Robotic affirming activates certain brain regions. Okay, for example, positive affirmations can engage the prefrontal cortex, which is involved in positive thinking and self-reflection. Okay, the prefrontal cortex definitely plays a role here. Also the amygdala. Okay, the amygdala is the like emotion processing center of the brain. It processes emotions such as fear, pain, pleasure. Okay, a lot of time, like a lot of us, can feel a little bit anxious in our day-to-day life or while affirming. So here is a life hack. When you start, there's actually, let me backtrack. There's something called EMDR, eye movement desensitization reprocessing, EMDR, which is when you move your eyes, like, from side to side. And when you do that, what you're actually doing is decreasing the activity in your amygdala. Okay, again, the amygdala is, where you feel fear and anxiety. And, like, when you move your eyes, back and forth, side to side, you're decreasing the activity in your amygdala. One way to do that is by going on walks, or, when you're exercising, you are more alert. Your eyes are just naturally looking all over the place, right? So robotic affirming self-concept while walking, okay, is amazing. It works 100%. Saturation sessions are really the key here. Okay, so just robotically affirm as you walk. jog, exercise. Okay, again, your brain is even in a certain like mode. Your brain waves are different when you start exercising, and that's another, again, like you can manifest whenever. You can manifest while you're sitting idle, manifest while sleeping, but your brain waves are in a different state when you exercise or when you're doing something, like a repetitive task that you're used to doing, like washing the dishes, because you don't have to think too hard. That's also a great way, or that's a great time to repeat your affirmations and engage in robotic affirming, because your mind will definitely internalize that a lot more. But yeah, definitely, um, the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala is key here. So when you robotically affirm, you're activating these certain brain regions, and you're also keeping your brain healthy. That's what I noticed, because robotic affirming is a way. It's a form of meditation. Okay, there's so many different ways to meditate. There's like breathwork meditation. There's like sleep meditation. Robotic affirming is also a type of meditation. When you really focus on something, when you focus on affirming something, that actually increases the amount of neurons in your brain, and it makes you smarter. Okay, so robotic affirming is it's a way to make you smarter, and it's a way for you to focus on something. It's a way for you to improve your learning and memory. And also, just when you say self-concept affirmations, that's positive thinking. Like when you're thinking positively most of the time, then your life is guaranteed to be positive. Okay, and any sort of negative thoughts you have, the robotic affirming that you're doing for those for the positive way of thinking, your self-concept will override that. Okay. The fifth fact here that we have here is long-term potentiation, LTP, long-term potentiation. This is the process by which synaptic connections become stronger with frequent activation. LTP is a fundamental mechanism for learning and forming memories. Repeating and practicing affirmations can enhance LTP at relevant synapses. That's exactly what I was saying. When you say something enough, when you do something enough, it becomes, a long-term thing, right? It becomes your dominant way of thinking. This is the process by which synaptic connections become stronger by frequent activation. When you're activating something frequently, it stays in your memory, you remember it, right? Like that's the same thing with learning our multiplication tables. The more we did it, right? Like a lot of us were in school for like what, at least 12 years, right? And then a lot of us went to college. We practiced writing every single day. We practice reading every single day. That's why, like, people that are used to reading, like, they're fast readers. They understand things fast, right? That's why anything that you do, you guys, like, for a long period of time, for an extended period of time, like, that's long-term potentiation. That becomes your dominant way of thinking. Now, there's some people that don't even have to think too hard, and um, about certain things, and they can just, like, like the smartest people I know, they're always reading, they're always writing, they're always learning, and like, they don't take too long to process things. They just understand things fast because of like the amount of practice and repetition that went into it. I know some people are just like natural born geniuses. They were born with those preformed synaptic connections, associated with a certain part of a brain region, right? Like the certain, like some people are just born smart, okay, but like if you're not, like, you can work towards it. Some people are born having, like, um, a certain type of memory, like photographic memory, but if you don't have it, you can train your brain to have that. Anything, you guys, even like the most brilliant geniuses, you can be that. You can channel your infinite intelligence to be whatever it is that you want. You are never, ever, 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 ever predetermined to anything. Things can always change. Things are always malleable. Our brains are malleable, even at a certain age. Like, it's recently been discovered that our brains are malleable even in adulthood. Before, scientists, they would only declare that, okay, your brains are only malleable during your childhood, and they are maybe more malleable between like certain ages, between 0 to 7, right? um, I feel like that's when, the most learning, the most like brain rewiring, synaptic formations, neuronal connections are formed, right? But like even in your adulthood, you can completely, change up your way of thinking. You can master certain skills. You can become like a genius. You can develop photographic memory. You can do anything. Okay, it's just a matter of repetition and practice and continuing to go at it. And I know, like, this is obvious. This is probably you know advice that we've heard, like, oh, practice makes perfect, this, that. But when you really implement it, and when you look at the science behind why this works, okay, um like, it helps you reinforce your faith in your affirmations, in just the concept of robotic affirming, which helps bring that thing in even faster than imaginable. Okay, so that's definitely something that I want you to understand, that um, it's your faith in whatever you're doing that's going to help you bring your manifestations fast. So if you think scripting will work, it'll work. If you think robotic affirming will work, it'll work. I feel like even if you don't really believe it, it'll still work because repetition is just like it's repetition. Like you can't beat that. Like that's that's like literally backed up by science. And when you do something enough, like it becomes a part of your life. Okay, so yeah. Anyways, the oh my gosh, I have like a couple more facts. Okay. Fact number 6, reduced cortical rivalry. So this concept suggests that when one neural pathway is strengthened, a couple of neural pathways are strengthened, they suppress competing pathways. Okay. So when you think positive thoughts, when you robotically affirm positive thoughts, it will override negative thoughts, like I mentioned before. When you recite positive affirmations, this reduces the strength of negative or unhelpful thought patterns. Okay, it literally negates the negative thought patterns, doubts, beliefs. Okay, that's why robotic affirming, you guys, when you say something enough, like whatever is the opposite of that, will literally disappear. Like even if you think negative thoughts, they're just not going to manifest. Okay, doubts, beliefs, all that don't manifest as long as you're consciously affirming and saying positive thoughts. Okay. Fact number 7: changes in brainwave activity. Robotic affirmations can change the brain's electrical activity. Okay, our brains are electrical in nature, thus increasing coherence and synchronization in certain brainwave patterns. Okay, so yeah, the more you affirm, your again neurons that fire together wire together. Okay, like there's literally an electrical charge that your brain is giving out. I don't know why I just like pictured an image of like a small like lightning strike going on in your brain as you robotically affirm. Sometimes I even like visualizing that. I'm not even the best at visualizing, although I shouldn't affirm that. But as I robotically affirm, I imagine like sparks going off in my brain, like the light bulb moment, electricity, like whatever, like just something going on in my brain, like neural pathways like forming, connecting. I don't know if you guys ever watched Jimmy Neutron, but that was on Nickelodeon. But basically, Jimmy Neutron was, this boy genius, and in between like certain scenes, they would show like every time like Jimmy was thinking, they would show like neural pathways like connecting and like that spark going off on his brain. Even if you just like look up Jimmy Neutron thinking and everything that I just said, like neural pathways, Jimmy Neutron, like you'll see like that's the visual that comes up whenever I start robotic affirming. And I don't know why that's proven to be really helpful. Okay, sometimes just even imagining your brain cells, like kind of like lighting up, having sparks around them for whatever reason helps. But that's just another pro tip there. The 8th and last fact here is neurogenesis and synaptogenesis. So robotic affirming can lead to the creation of new neurons, aka neurogenesis, and the formation of new synapses, synaptogenesis. So again, neurogenesis is just like I mentioned, the creation of new neurons. And when you focus on something, you can actually double the amount of neurons, okay, double the amount of neuronal connections, okay. That's the same thing with synapses, okay. You can literally form new synapses as you robotically affirm. And like neurogenesis, that's the key. Neuroplasticity, which is, the brain's ability to adapt to new environments, the brain's ability to adapt and grow throughout life, okay. Neuroplasticity, neurogenesis, all of these, happen when you robotically affirm or saturate, repeat, mantra meditation, whatever you call it. Okay, basically repetition is key. So yeah, to summarize, robotic affirmations can lead to structural and functional changes in the brain by strengthening neural pathways, enhancing neurotransmitters, releasing and forming new neurons and synapses. And again, robotic affirming helps you get into the dominant state of having all your desires. So, once you get into that dominant state, you probably won't even have to affirm that much anymore. I know because I've been there. I'm living proof of these. I'm living proof of that. Okay. And yeah, basically these changes contribute to what did I just write? These changes contribute to making the practice thought, aka your robotic affirming, more predominant in your mental processes. Okay, again, via neuroplasticity, which is your brain's ability to form and reorganize synaptic connections. So when you affirm, neurogenesis happens, neuroplasticity happens, you release certain neurotransmitters such as dopamine, serotonin. It helps you feel good, especially robotically affirming self-concept while you sleep via sleep affirmation tapes in your voice. And when you affirm, thus reducing the activity in your amygdala, um, all of these are really helpful. Okay, I know I repeat myself so many times. I sometimes sound like a broken record, but again, that's repetition. That's how I learn, because I repeat this so many times. I like literally write down all these facts so many times to reinforce my faith in manifestation and robotic affirming. I get my manifestations fast. Okay, so again, just maybe even like write down why this works. Okay, like all the facts that I said, maybe take notes on it. Sometimes I like repeat the same thing, just again for me to feel confident in just like the notion of robotic affirming, for me to like feel confident in manifesting in general. Okay, like when you tell yourself this is working, this is working, and you pair that, you complement that with your affirmations, it has no choice but to work. Okay, so as you're affirming for whatever it is that you're affirming, also affirm that you're the operant power of your reality, that everything that you're doing is working, it's always working. You believe in the power of your brain. Okay, I believe in myself, I believe in my ability to bring this out in my reality. I know that everything that's happening is happening for my benefit. Everything is a bridge of incidents that's going to lead you to where you want to be. You are guaranteed your manifestation. Okay, so yeah, before I end the video, I do want to let you know there is a self-concept challenge going on my Patreon, where I give you self-concept affirmations to robotically affirm so you can manifest your specific person, because I know a lot of you are manifesting love and specific people, which is completely fine. We also have a science challenge going on, where I give you signs to look for to reinforce your faith in your manifestation abilities. And when one or multiple people see the sign, that means every single person is going to be getting their manifestation. Okay, kind of like using the group's collective power to amplify and accelerate your manifestations, which if you believe in that, that is something that happens. If you believe that people getting together and focusing on the same thing will help you amplify your manifestations, that's guaranteed to happen. That's definitely a belief that I have, and it definitely works. Even in my family, when multiple people have prayed for the same thing, it manifested that much faster. I also offer in-depth readings as well as manifestation coaching. I also do manifestation coaching calls. And what else do? I custom make subliminals, okay, or affirmation tapes in my voice to help you manifest. And yeah, so if you're interested in any of these services, check out the description box below, where you will find my website. You can sign up for these services through my website. And yeah, I will end the video right here. I intend that every single person here watching this video gets their manifestations to full fruition for the good of all and harm to none. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you all next time.